More than 60 UFO sightings were reported across the state during the first half of 2025, according to an official national monitoring group, NUFORC. Welcome to UFO, Section 51. I'm Dio's Geek and you're watching a new live stream, the second live on this TikTok account, the official account of UFO, Section 51. Welcome to you all. Welcome to the first ones joining in. A little bit of UFO news, or ufological news. An article came out on Fox News following a statistical study, which publicly revealed that there were more than 60 UFO sightings reported in the state of New York during the first half of 2025. So, you see that even though it's been talked about a little less in the media these past few months, UFO sightings are still happening. And obviously, the United States is still one of the leading countries in terms of UFO sightings. One of the first countries in the world where the population is attuned to this UFO culture and where people are a bit more used to seeing things in the sky and reporting them to organizations whose mission is to catalog these cases, not to hide them or make fun of the subject. I'm going to go through this article a bit. So, more than 60 UFO sightings were reported across the state during the first half of 2025, according to an official national monitoring group, NUFORC. It documented 66 sightings of unexplained aerial phenomena across the state of New York during the first half of 2025. The National UFO Reporting Center, NUFORC, with 66 distinct incidents recorded between January and the end of June 2025. The state received reports of a series of mysterious aerial objects ranging from glowing orbs and silent triangles to fast-moving disks and shape-shifting lights. According to NUFORC, the incidents occur in rural hamlets and suburban skies, and in the busy airspace of the Big Apple, that is, New York City. The phenomenon appears to be widespread across the state, with hotspots in urban centers like New York, as well as numerous reports coming from smaller towns such as Chester, Ridge, and Evans Mills. Evans Mills, which is located near a military base, witnessed repeated sightings of orbs in March, prompting witnesses to speculate about possible links to defense activities. Let me remind you, by the way, that it was in the state of New Jersey where, during the second half of 2024, throughout the entire semester, there were reports of UFO sightings or lights in the sky. And for months, the local authorities, including the American military authorities, tried to investigate and identify these mysterious lights that regularly disturbed the night sky for American citizens, without really knowing, without being able to provide a real explanation for these lights. Some said they were drones, maybe even Chinese drones, but no one managed to catch a single one or identify them. Most of these mysterious drones or mysterious lights, often filmed at night, would systematically head toward the sea when they left the area. They would head toward the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Did the American military authorities get sent out to sea to try to intercept some of these lights? I don't know. We still don't know what happened next with these events. And of course, you can imagine that if there was any interception by armed forces, for now, at least at first, it's being kept secret. Maybe one of these days we'll get a declassification of these events. Getting back to our sightings from the first half of 2025, the most common shapes were orbs, spheres, and triangles, which were frequently seen during advanced maneuvers. So, it wasn't just civilians. There were also American military personnel who reported UFO sightings during this first half of the year. Several reports have described sharp right-angle turns, sudden accelerations, and zigzag flight paths. According to NUFORC, A particularly striking sighting occurred in Chester on March 25th, 2025, when a person walking their dog around 6 p.m. reported seeing two extremely fast white orbs flying in close formation. At first, the witness thought they were birds, but their unusual speed and their synchronized yet erratic flight stood out halfway through their trajectory. The objects made a sharp turn of nearly 90 degrees to the northwest without any deceleration, the witness stated. And I see in the chat that some of you have already witnessed UFOs, that you've already had sightings. At that moment, they turned into dark, aerodynamic ovals that almost vanished into the night sky, according to the report. The witness described the orbs as being, for a moment, absolutely pitch black. A handful of these sightings also included photographic or video evidence, although Newfork has not released any digital proof. Other submissions have put forward hypotheses about plausible explanations such as drones, airplanes, fireworks, and even the International Space Station. Most of Newfork's reports remain open and unexplained. The months from April to June saw a spike in activity, corresponding to the warmer months that generally encourage outdoor sightings. So that, indeed, is proven. Often, UFO sightings surge from May-June through September, since those of the summer months and people are outside more often and stay out later at night. And so, well, that leads to an increase in UFO sightings. Another remarkable incident is said to have occurred on June 24th, 2025, during a commercial flight approaching New York. A passenger seated in cabin 1A reported to Newfork that they saw a metallic sphere flying in the opposite direction of the plane, about 100 to 200 feet below the aircraft. The witness, who was on the plane arriving from Toronto, described the object as a perfectly round and shiny sphere that caught his attention because of its metallic gleam. The witness noted that the object did not look like a balloon or a stationary object, stating that it was steadily moving away from the plane. The passenger immediately alerted the pilots upon landing, but neither of them reported having seen the object. Officially, but perhaps in private, they too witnessed it and simply did not want to officially confirm the sighting. Despite this, the observer remained convinced of the extraordinary nature of the object. Following this article, there was a short video interview during a show on Fox News. I can't show you the footage, but I can let you listen to the audio of the interview.
A new study from GigaCalculator ranks Virginia as the best prepared to deal with an alien invasion, with Alabama in second place, Massachusetts in third, New York in fourth, and Minnesota rounding out the top five. Okay, I am officially confused. Massachusetts and New York were sanctuaries for illegal aliens. We know how Minnesota handled the mess there in the Summer of Love, and they're all going to save us from actual aliens. Joining me now is Mike Barry, UFO expert and aerospace engineer. All right, Mike, what makes Virginia the top state to deal with an invasion, other than, of course, I'll be part of the fighting force?
Well, you have all the military there, Laura. You have all of this defense stuff. The Pentagon is right near Virginia. So it seems like in that area, the nation's capital area, you would obviously have a lot of exotic defenses that we probably don't know anything about. It seems like in the past, aliens have had problems with different kinds of radars that we've used. And who knows? We have all kinds of weapons that we don't really talk about. Particle beams, laser beams. Who knows? Maybe we could get CERN to build us a little black hole we could throw at them if they try to invade.
Okay.
And I'm sure DC has all that stuff.
Okay, I can get that. Okay, but what I can't understand, of course the CIA is in Virginia, but what I can't understand is Massachusetts and New York, given their difficulty in dealing with just basic crime problems, okay? I don't understand that.
Well, they seem pretty welcoming of aliens, so maybe the aliens look at those two states and say, hey, this is a good place for us. We're not going to mess with these people. They're pretty good. But I will say this. It strikes me that sending Katy Perry to space is the most provocative thing we could do. And that worries me. That worries me because I live in Nevada, which, if you noticed, is the bottom of the list. It's like the most likely to be conquered by aliens is my state. So that scares me. But,
well, and
yeah.
Minnesota coexist. A lot of coexist bumper stickers in Minnesota, so they rank number 5. Right. So that makes sense.
Right. So, well, maybe this poll is a different thing.
Yeah, let me just say this.
Maybe this is different.
Sorry, we have a crosstalk. Governor Youngkin told the Angle that illegal aliens of any kind will not be welcome in Virginia for as long as I am governor. Okay, having a little fun with that. And the Nevada governor, Lombardo, told us that Nevada has 60 million acres of wide open space where you can explore lush mountains, sweeping national parks, forests, vast desert landscapes, all while avoiding any unwanted UFOs. So people are getting serious about this today.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Now, we're joking on a lot of this, but you actually say this is something we should take seriously. Why?
Well, remember, I live in a state, I live in Las Vegas, and last year we had a 10-foot tall alien in somebody's backyard, and that's a little disconcerting, especially I talked to some police officers here, and they said, you're never going to see the body cam footage that they took in that backyard. So, look, just to take it a little more seriously, we have documentation. There's documents out there that indicate that we've been visited for a very long time, that this is something CIA in Virginia knows all about, and you have to assume that they've been preparing for this. But we don't have any public knowledge of that. I mean, shouldn't we maybe have hearings on considering this eventuality? Because if you just look at what's in the New York Times and the Washington Post the last 7-8 years, it's aliens all the time.
All right, well, Mike, this obviously is going to be a point of discussion in future shows. But we really appreciate your joining us. I'm going back to the 10-foot tall alien. All right, that's it for us tonight.
So he seemed to be saying, indeed, that there are more sightings in these states because there is a high concentration of military presence. In other words, American military bases and activities in these different states, which is absolutely true. And it has often been observed that there is significant UFO activity near sensitive security sites, as well as around nuclear sites, nuclear power plants, or military sites with nuclear warheads. So, that was the interview on Fox News following this statistical study. Now, you may have noticed that the tone of the interview was a bit humorous at the beginning. It was an interview conducted by a journalist who had invited Mike Barra, who is an aerospace engineer. So, at the start, they approached the topic in a pretty relaxed way, which is often the case in the media. And then, little by little, they're forced to get a bit more serious by necessity, since the aerospace engineer has to admit that there is now evidence in the possession of the CIA, some of which has been declassified by the U.S. Congress and the U.S. Navy. This evidence confirms that, indeed, Earth has been regularly visited for many years. So, there is now officially revealed evidence of the existence of these UFOs, or at least of extraterrestrial life or a presence that regularly moves through our skies. There are a few states that top the list in terms of UFO sightings, and notably the state of Virginia, which is one of the leading American states for UFO activity. And strangely, the state of Nevada, where Area 51 is located, comes in last. The respective governors of these states, Virginia and other states, Massachusetts I believe, have made public statements on the subject, saying that illegal extraterrestrials are not welcome. So, we're really seeing a continuation of this American culture in Trump's policies. And also the other governor who publicly said that his state was very vast in terms of landscapes, deserts, places to relax, and places to visit, and that you could easily visit his state without ever running the risk of encountering UFOs at any point. So, it was also a way to reassure potential tourists. In any case, they are forced to admit that statistics regularly prove there are still UFO sightings. What surprises me a bit is that the topic of UFOs, those mysterious lights that were observed for a long period at the end of 2024 in New Jersey, that subject, for now, hasn't come back up. What happened to those UFOs that people were regularly seeing in New Jersey? Both civilians, police officers, and even the military were witnessing them. Are these sightings still happening? Are there still these UFO appearances in the New Jersey sky at night? Or has it stopped? We don't know. There are no studies or investigations by serious journalists on the subject. It would be interesting to study what happened next, the continuation of the phenomena that occurred in the second half of 2024. So, what would also interest me regarding this article and this study is to know whether there were also UFO sightings in France during the first half of 2025. To wrap up this article, this organization, NUFORC, which was founded in 1974 by the UFO investigator Robert J. Agribel, aims to document and investigate unexplained sightings around the world. The National UFO Reporting Center. The main function of the center over the past 5 decades has been to receive, record, and, as much as possible, corroborate and document reports from people who have witnessed unusual events, possibly related to UFOs. And so, this article on the Fox News website comes to an end. Thank you all for your support. This was Dose Geek on UFO, Section 51. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your likes and for sharing. I wish you a great holiday if you're currently on vacation. Enjoy yourself a little or a lot, make the most of the sun, the sea, and this relaxing time. And we'll see each other again very soon on UFO, Section 51. And in any case, whatever happens, keep your eyes wide open, keep watching the sky, stay alert, and above all, be ready to capture interesting images. And also, try in your own way to raise awareness among those around you. Big hugs to everyone. Have a great evening and a great weekend. Live long and prosper.
Some things taking flight, unknown shadows found, moving without sound.